It's the only thing you should do. Just trying to make fun. Okay. And then,
Connor, 1, 2, 3.
do you want to be introed as anything? Newly retired. Okay. Off on the internet.
Pretty rarely.
Nice.
I don't want to see what.
The head coach for the Tampa Bay Rowdies is Neil Collins. Chris Lima.
day has finally come, a beautiful sunny afternoon in New Jersey for the start of the 2020 USL Championship season. The New York Red Bulls, too, hosting the Tampa Bay Rowdies to get it kicked off. I'm David Goss alongside currently newly retired Connor Lade, professional soccer player, as these two teams come in for their first game of the season. Connor, it's been a long offseason. What's these players' mindset coming into game one?
Yeah, these guys have been working all off-season, all preseason for this moment. Obviously, one of the marquee matchups in the past couple of years in the East, and you work all this time for this moment, so they're really getting ready for the season to start, and they want to start on the front foot.
We've got a lot to talk about in this game. You mentioned the history between these two teams. Let's start with the star players, though, and for this man, Evan Loro, longtime Red Bull 2 player, playing his first ever game back here at home.
It's a nice homecoming for Evan. Obviously, he's on the opposite side of things today, but he was a big part of the club for the past couple of years. He's a great shot stopper, and it'll be interesting to see how he fares against the Red Bulls today.
He has led the team out in red many a times now on the opposite side, and the man he's going to be trying to stop, the all-time leading assist man in Red Bull 2 history, Jared Stroud.
Yeah, Jared's, I've always been impressed with Jared whenever I've played with him. He's a very fiery competitor. Has been great player for the club, and I think he's going to be very dangerous today.
A new position for him, signed as an MLS player on loan with this team. He's going to help lead the way. A very experienced attack for New York Red Bulls, too. Can they get started running fast out the gates here, or will the Tampa Bay Rowdies be able to get a big victory over what has become a current rival? We'll be back in just a moment with all your USL Championship action here on ESPN+.
Red isn't just our color. It's a passion that beats in the hearts of everyone who stands with us. All 11 on the field, the thousands in the stands, across our 2 states, all driving us forward as one. Red never sleeps. Red never quits. Because here, the difference between winning and losing doesn't just happen on the field. It runs much deeper than that.
Well, these fans have waited for months. These players have worked for months for this moment. We've got the pregame festivities out of the way, and we are ready to play some soccer here in 2020. And let's take a look at the players that are going to get it started for these two teams. First, for New York Red Bulls, too, a heavy experienced attack with Ben Mines and Omir Fernandez leading the line in what is now a 4-2-2-2.
Yeah, Ben and Omir up top should be looking to get behind today. Obviously, they want to stretch and try to expose the back line. And really, 2 smaller guys, they want them to run. They don't want to be battling for aerial duels, and they want to really emphasize getting on the run and trying to get behind Tampa today.
And 3-4-3 here, not exactly right, more of a 3-5-2 for this Tampa Bay team. But Jordan Scarlett, former Red Bull 2 player, starting in the back line. A brand new back line, 4 new starters alongside Aaron Guillen, of course, last up. And up top, the captain, the leading scorer, Sebastian Guenzati.
Yeah, played with Sebastian my short stint with the Cosmos. Obviously, he's a imposing player. Tough in the challenge, creative, can score. He's got a nose for goal, and excited to watch him today.
John Wolyniec, head coach for New York Red Bulls 2, and Neil Collins, head coach for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. For John Wolyniec, the only head coach in Red Bull 2 history. He's had a lot of success with this group and a lot of success pushing players along, a guy you know pretty well.
Yeah, John's a great coach. Obviously, he's had a ton of success and has brought a lot of big things to this club, and he's a great ambassador as well, being a former player, and so I think he's got this group motivated, ready to go today.
Neil Collins, a former Rowdy player himself, now he's in charge of the whole show. GM, technical director, head coach. This is his squad out in their highlighter yellow kits, top to bottom. Two teams that are hoping they will be playing late into the year, pushing for USL Championship. New York Red Bulls, who have never missed the postseason, three-time USL Eastern Conference finalists, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, one of the biggest names in American soccer. As we have kicked off the 2020 season, New York Red Bulls in their third kits, their black jerseys, top to bottom, going left to right on your monitors. Tampa Bay Rowdies here in the Northeast to kick off their season, but a perfect afternoon, over 50 degrees and sunny. It feels like Florida.
It's beautiful, beautiful New Jersey weather. You couldn't ask for a better opening day.
For New York Red Bulls too, some new faces to their group. Manny Egbo, just signing a few weeks ago, an Englishman playing in Germany, starting at right back for this group. Roy Boateng at right center back alongside Joe Falla, a new graduate of Ramapo College, longtime FC Motown player in the New Jersey area. Left back for this team, Sam Boontang. A lot of new faces along the back line for Red Bulls, playing with what we've already said, a very experienced group ahead of them. Kyle Zayats and Chris Lemma, the holding midfielders. In front of them, a group that knows each other very well, Jared Stroud, Alex Mule, Omir Fernandez, and of course Ben Mines, the young homegrown player up top. O'Connor, for this group, game one, you've played preseason, you've played a lot of games together, quote unquote, but games that didn't really count. Now this group has to come together and figure out this system at high speed against a very experienced opponent.
Yeah, it's a long off season, it's a long preseason, and obviously this is when it matters. All the other stuff goes out the window, and so they're gonna look to their guys who have been here before. They're gonna look to the experience of Alex Mule, Omir, a Lemma and a Stroud to really push them forward. And they, like you said, on the back line, they got a lot of new faces, but you got to trust the guys to your left and right. And you've had some time to work together, but now it's when it counts.
First attack into the box for Tampa Bay. Wallace Lapsley coming out to take that one. One of the rookies out of UC Davis, starting in goal here today for New York. Boontang pushing forward into the feet of Fernandez. Clash between him and Forrest Lasso, and a foul called in favor of New York. Lasso starting in the middle of that back line, flanked by Jordan Scarlett and Aaron Guillen, coming over from North Carolina. The wing backs for this one, Dembuya there at right wing back in a battle right now. Played last year with the Phoenix Rising, winning a regular season USL championship. And at left wing back, you mentioned before, Leo Fernandez, 10 assists last year. Pure attacking along that left wing side.
Right. I was fortunate to play with Leo for a little bit. Obviously, he's a huge playmaker for them, and I think it would be key for Red Bull to lock him down today.
Joe Falla, 6'7" at left center back. Roy Boateng, 6'3" at right center back. Coming up for this corner kick, hit low. Doumbia knocks it away. Bontung trying to put it back into the box. All up in the air and knocking around. Good battle there early on, and a foul will go in favor of Dembuya. Holding midfield here, Dominic Oduro, who's been a consistent starter for the last year and a half for Tampa Bay since coming over from Seattle. He will be partnered in this one with one of the new additions for Neil Collins and Lewis Hilton. Hilton, a star for St. Louis FC last year in central midfield. The Englishman likes to pull strings deep in that midfield role. Zach Steinberger will play just in front of them at the number 10 spot. And Guanzati alongside Kyle Sheldon, Kyle Murphy, be the two forwards up top for this one for Tampa Bay. It'll be Hilton to take almost every set piece in this game for Tampa. Lining this one up here. Hilton 5 assists last year in St. Louis. So now a first opportunity here for Tampa off a set piece. Hilton, the number 4, lines it up, clips it to the far post. It's knocked down in the box, opportunity here, and Lapsley comes out and closes it down.
Big stop from Lapsley there. You really want to be marking these guys in the box, especially on these secondary chances, and it was a little bit sloppy. A little bit sloppy there from the Red Bulls.
Good opportunity for Tampa early on here. Quick throw in. Connor, your first game alongside me here in the booth. You were out on the field last year. Tell fans a little bit about what you're doing and why you've decided to join us.
Thanks for having me. Obviously, I'm looking forward to working with you. You know, I just accepted a job in New York Red Bulls. I'm heading up the alumni and player relations. And I'm excited to be back with the club. Obviously, it wasn't gone too long, but I'm excited to be back and help the team in any way I can.
Part of the first ever academy class in Red Bulls history. Been with the MLS side since 2012. Now an opportunity to work in the front office as well as on the broadcasts. So you know what a lot of these players are going through right now is this group of players, a few rookies just out of college, some academy players on the bench who still just 17, 18, and a large group of players trying to fight for more time, what this means for these guys.
Yeah, you're gonna have some nervy moments in the beginning of the year. Obviously, you're trying to get through the first couple minutes of this game, and obviously it's a good mix of guys on this roster for Red Bull. You know, you've got a wide array.
Hilton pushing forward here as he takes it off of Wheel's foot. A trip up in the box, and New York able to come back away with it.
Obviously, we're blessed with a great academy system, and so you are fortunate enough to have these guys bring them through the system. And in the Tyler Adams mold, you're trying to push them through every facet of this organization. And so I think it's a great mix. Obviously, you have a lot of first-teamers out there. You know, guys who have played major minutes like Alex Muyo, and so it's a good mix. They're going to look to these leaders to push them through today, and you know, bring these young guys along, and for the new guys to really immerse themselves in the Red Bull culture and learn as quick as they can.
Jared Stroud, one of the players on this team with a number upgrade as he moved from a full-time New York Red Bull 2 player to a full-time MLS player. So he's gotten the upgrade from number 50 to number 8, which just makes you look a little bit more professional.
Yeah, it's nice to see that on the locker and on the back of the jerseys. Obviously, it's a better look. Obviously, you got some high numbers out there, and I think Jared well-deserved earned that contract, and they're going to obviously look to him to be a big player for this team and hopefully break his way into the first team and play some major minutes there as well.
The first New York Red Bull 2 player in the 2020 club, 20 goals, 20 assists in his career, the all-time leader in assists. He's currently 2 goals behind tying Brandon Allen, which would be the all-time leader in goals and assists in New York Red Bull 2 history. 15 goals last year and 9 assists. USL best 11. One of 2 best 11 players on the field is Forrest Lasso at the time with Nashville, also a USL best 11. So for Stroud, it's been a consistent build over the course of his career. 7 goals, 11 assists in 2018, and then 15 goals, 9 assists last year. And hoping for more this year as an opportunity in the box. Knocked away. It'll be another corner kick coming here for New York. Corner kick coming here. The first opportunity for New York was hit low at the near post and cleared away. Gonna do a little bit better here with this service. Knocked away again at the near post.
Previous play, that's exactly what they want to do. They want to break the lines. Good turn from Ben to find Omir on the run. They want to play quick. Good restart from Jared to play quickly.
Stroud again. Again knocked down at the near post. Still alive in the box and into the hands safely there of Evan Loro. So we can tell here, at least, Connor, New York trying to hit something on the near post on those corner kicks.
Yeah, looks like they're targeting that near post for sure. I think they got to get some numbers there. You know, the wind could be playing a factor, I think, or it could be intentional, but they do have to get some numbers in and hopefully redirect something on goal or into your numbers on the back.
For the Tampa Bay Rowdies, high expectations coming into this season. They were 5th in the Eastern Conference last year, losing at home to Louisville in the first round of the playoffs. 2018, a down year, missing out on the postseason. 2017, they were the 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference, and they lost to this New York Red Bull 2 squad at home in the postseason, thanks in large part to a heroic performance from their current goalkeeper, Evan Loro. So a lot of history between these two teams. Their short time in USL together. So you see 2 former Red Bull 2 players on Tampa, and there was 2 former Red Bull 2 players on Tampa last year, and Andrew Tenari as well as David Najem.
Seems there's always some familiar faces on this Tampa team. Obviously, like you mentioned, Evan's heroic game against them, that was probably one of the best games I had seen out of him. And you can check it out for yourselves on the highlight reel, but he had some big stops in that game, and it really obviously impressed Tampa as they really went after him after he left New York Red Bull. So they're hoping to recreate that same magic here tonight.
Joe Falla cleaning that one up. I mentioned the Ramapo College graduate. Scored 47 goals in his college career as a center forward. Getting the start here today at left center back.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a new role for Joe. I think he's obviously a big presence in there.
Ball played into the box, knocked down at the far post. Now New York a chance to clear it.
Yeah, it provides a big presence obviously in the box. They've got some good height between him and Roy. And it would be a nice new position for him.
Fernandez getting that cross in, as he'll try and do all day. It was the right wing back. Dumbuyu closing in on that far side. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Connor, you made that transition from college to the professional game. What's the big differences for these players?
It's going to be the pace of play. Obviously, in a game like this, Tampa's a very physical team, so that will play a factor as well. And especially with some of the matchups around the field, there's some smaller guys, so we want to.
Good sequence here for New York, and then Ben Mines can't complete it.
You're going to want to play as fast as possible against this team. You're going to use your speed up front. And for the guys transitioning in, obviously, you are trying to get up to speed as quick as possible.
So you see that combination play there from New York. For Tampa, no rookies on the roster this year. Juan Tejada, who played his first year last year, coming back, experienced player. As this shot comes in from Guenzati, it's just wide of the near post. You know he's going to be dangerous, Connor. You know what he can do. Doesn't need a big opening to get a chance on goal.
Yeah, Guenzati's always has a nose for goal. He puts himself in good spots, and it was a good layoff there. Unlucky not to put it on frame, but you got to keep him. You got to be aware of where he is at all times, and you know he's going to be in front of goal and put himself in good position. So Red Bull's got to communicate where he is at all times and make sure that they're keeping account of him. 19
goals last year, 3rd in the entire USL. Captain for this team. Born in Montevideo, but raised in Queens. He's been now with Tampa Bay since 2017. Scored 10 goals in 81 appearances before that for the New York Cosmos. Playing alongside, at times, you.
Yeah, you know, as I mentioned, I had a short stint with the Cosmos, but I was always impressed with his presence. Obviously, you know, I had some battles with him in training, and I could tell you he's very strong. And you know, I think he left his mark on some of those tackles, and so I tried to avoid those with him. but he's got a strong presence, obviously being the captain of this team, and they rely on him greatly. So, as I mentioned, they're going to have to keep track of him today. Limiting his chances will be a big factor in play in the, trying to have success today.
And part of what was a dangerous attack last year, returning many pieces for Tampa, trying to rebuild the back line under Neil Collins, hence the additions across that back five. Aaron Guillen, a longtime experienced player, former FC Dallas homegrown, playing with North Carolina the last 2 years. Jordan Scarlett, the longest tenured New York Red Bull 2 player in history, as he gets that header in, a player alongside at that right center back spot. And of course, Dembuya, they are getting into the tackle, a Sierra Leone international, so a ton of experience, a ton of quality along that back line. Collins looks to improve that facet of his team.
Yeah, we obviously talked with Coach Wolonek before the game, and he mentioned how they defend with 10. They've always, tried to be a tough, rigid defensive team, and that's what they build a lot of their culture around. And you can see that, Coach Collins has them built to be a defensive team, but they wanna compete this year, and they think they have the roster to do so.
You have some good, experienced talent. Help push this team over the edge in the postseason, but we've got a lot of regular season to get there. We're just 15 minutes into the 2020 USL Championship season. The long winter is finally over. It's not like soccer's been away forever. These two teams have come out. How do you say these first 15 minutes kind of feeling each other out? A lot of ticky-tack fouls, a few upper half chances off set pieces, but nothing big so far for these two teams.
Nothing major. It looks like Tampa's had a little bit of the better of the chances. Couple of corner kicks for Red Bulls. I think they, as we mentioned earlier, they want to play behind. They want to create these chances. They want to capitalize on these corner kicks, and obviously they want to limit Tampa's chances, but it seems they've had the better of the chances so far.
We have in Loro to knock this goal kick long. Loro, a native of South River, New Jersey. As we said, New York Red Bull Academy player. He's been with this club basically for the last 10 years of his life, outside of a half semester at University of Michigan.
Right. Yeah. Since I had been here, I know Evan from the academy. He was young when I was there, but he seems to always have been around. Weird seeing some Loro jerseys in the neon green, and so it's
South River, New Jersey has definitely come out for this game.
Right. It's a nice homecoming for him. I'm sure he wants to get a win. That would be sweet for him.
And a player who's always been talented, good shot stopper, but over the last 2 years, you've seen as this ball goes back to his feet, his change, I think, a little in professionalism of getting in shape and being a part of the system and improving his play with his feet. You've definitely seen him come along over the last few years.
Yeah, obviously, Evan did great, becoming more professional. Obviously, it's tough, transitioning into that professional role, but he always seemed to be one of the first guys in, stayed late, made sure that he was doing everything he could to be the best player that he could be. And so that always left me impressed, and he was a good ambassador for the club.
And he will look to do the same for Tampa. Stroud gets the ball forward. Fernandez into the feet of Lemma, wearing the captain's armband here today. Egbo trying to overlap and can't get onto them to that one.
Be interesting. We get our first look at Manny Egbo, new signing for the Red Bulls. Obviously, they're going to look to push him more minutes today and see what he can do for the club.
Played the last season with Darmstadt in the Bundesliga 2. Only 2 starts, though, 6 appearances for him. Was with Borussia Mönchengladbach for 3 years before that. Only 1 Bundesliga appearance, but a ton of Bundesliga reserve appearances. For a guy coming into this system new, you played fullback for this team. What's different about his role in this system, and what's he going to have to learn?
Obviously, he's going to have to learn the press. You know, I'm not sure how familiar he was before with it, but I think he's, from what I've heard from John and Chris, they're very high on him. They're expecting him to come in, hopefully learn quick, and play a big role this season. So you really just got to trust the guys around you. You have to read the situations. You have to look at the guy in front of you and see these triggers on when to go, when to stay. And really, that's just going to come with time. Obviously, the guys around him have to help him, bring him along. And I think they've got good leaders on this team that will be able to do so. And really, I think he'll fit into the system well.
An interesting young man in that rarely do English players choose to leave England. He was in Crystal Palace's academy and chose to leave to go to Germany, which we're starting to see a little bit more of now. Left the same year Jadon Sancho left, as well as Reece Oxford. Worked as well as he could there, learned to speak German fluently at just 20 years old, and now he's come across the Atlantic, which is another rare move, and is playing here at Red Bull, so clearly has an idea about how he wants his career to play out. And just speaking to him for a few minutes, an interesting young guy.
Yeah, he seems like a great kid. Obviously, like you mentioned, learning German at 20, and seemed to be started the trend of guys moving over there younger and younger, and I think it speaks to his professionalism. I think he should be able to adapt here very quickly, and I think he's going to be a great player for the club. I think he just has to, be open to learning as much as possible, and you only get to do so by throwing yourself into the fire in games like this. And I think he should do well.
And so that stoppage was for an injury to Roy Boateng. And the last thing you want to see is Boateng going back to the locker room. He was drafted last year by New York Red Bulls out of UC Davis and sat out almost the entire year with a hip injury. Worked his way back, got 2 appearances off the bench late in the year. Has been doing really well in preseason. Supposed to be a key for this team over the course of 2020. He's already forced back to the locker room. You hate to see that for a guy who's worked through so much in his young career.
Absolutely. It's terrible to see that, especially for a guy like Roy. He's, personally one of the nicest guys I've met in my time here. You only want to see good things for him, and that's a sad sight watching him go back to the locker room, but we're keeping our fingers crossed, hoping for the best there.
So Boateng going off, will force a substitution for New York. It'll be Preston Kilwine to come on to fill in at center back. Kilwine in his second year with New York Red Bulls too, a former Tampa Bay Rowdy U23 player at Florida Gulf Coast University. So a guy who'll be very familiar with both sides of what's going on right now, and a guy who, after you saw Sean Nealis step up to the MLS team last year, took over and played as the go-to starter for New York Red Bulls too.
Yeah, Preston was a big part of the defense last year. Obviously, like you mentioned, when Sean moved up, he played a big role. He's a good player, good kid, seems eager and always willing to learn. And I think he's getting a little warm right now, but he'll be a big player for this team. And obviously, he's been thrown in early here, so I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think they're trying to get him warm and get him on the field as quick as possible.
So he came on the field, then was pulled back off. Now has a Pinion doing a little work along the sideline. We'll have to see how it plays out. Keeps the size along that back line, 6'4". Versatile player, has played a little left back, mainly at center back. I mentioned 18 starts last year, 24 appearances, but right now New York Red Bulls too, playing down a man as Tampa starts to push forward. Fernandez cross, punched away by Lapsley, and then Mines pushes it along up the field. Can the Rowdies take advantage of the man up here for these few moments?
I'm not sure. I think they're not trying to risk anything, especially with one center back going down. They don't want to throw him in there if he's not ready, but hopefully they're going to get him ready as quick as possible because you don't want to be playing down a man. And
Kilwine didn't start this game because he is working his way back from an injury. Injured his ankle early in preseason and has been touch and go since then. So he normally would have been a starter, and hence, as you said, you want to make sure you take care of him.
Especially in the early goings here, you don't want to see guys dropping out in the first game of the year. So, as long as they are able to manage this and feel confident with playing a man down, I think it's smart to make sure he's ready before you're getting in there.
And on Boateng, as we said, a hip injury last year. It was expected that he wouldn't be available the full year. He worked so hard that he actually got himself into the 18 towards the end of the year and made those 2 appearances his debut on September 19th against St. Louis, and played 45 minutes against Louisville a week later. And it was a credit to him, and I think something that the coaching staff wants to reward how hard he worked. So we'll have to keep an eye on what the injury is for him. You hope it's not too much of a setback once again.
It's a testament to his work ethic. Obviously, if you know Roy and are familiar with him, he's looks like a Greek god. He looks like he's cut out of rock, and so he's an impressive athlete.
Yeah.
And I think it's a testament to him and his hard work.
Boateng, born in Accra, Ghana, spending his high school years in California, and now we do get the official substitution. So first move of the game already made for New York there. Boateng going off and Kilwine coming on. We don't expect Manny Egbo to be 90 minutes fit, so for John Wolyniec, didn't want to be forced into an early substitution on the back line. We'll see how it plays out for the home side.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, you don't want to burn early subs, and especially, like you said, with Manny Egbo playing not necessarily 90 minutes today. We'll see how long they want to push him, but it's tough to burn us up early knowing that you may have to make one later as well with him.
Don't miss a minute of action in 2020. Sign up today and get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for New York Red Bulls 2 or Tampa Bay Rowdies, and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on New York Red Bull 2's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. For this Tampa Bay Rowdies side, they start with a 2-game quote-unquote road trip. Their next game, though, at Miami, so a nice little inter-Florida trip. And for New York, they follow this game up hosting the Hartford Athletic, who have gone through wholesale changes after a tough first year, but one of the exciting new clubs in USL. Great support all season in the Hartford area, and they hope that they've got the formula this year to be a little bit more competitive on the field, including signing one of your former teammates in Kevin Politz.
Yeah, played with Kevin. I think played with him in one of my USL games I've played, and I think it'll be a good signing for him. Kevin was always a good professional, very, very motivated player, and I think he'll do well there.
And the structure in American and Canadian soccer so different nowadays. For a guy like Kevin, a homegrown signing, then went to USL League One, which didn't exist 2 years ago. That moves him up to the Hartford Athletic, which didn't exist 2 years ago, and there's a lot more jobs, a lot more opportunities across the landscape of soccer right now in North America.
Yeah, there's a lot of, with all the new teams coming in, obviously there's a lot of new opportunities, and it's nice for him to get one and not too far from home.
And Miami FC, of course, one of the exciting new additions to the USL this year. They've had some great support over the years. But they've played in a number of different leagues, and they've got some good experience on their roster. You have to say one of the fan favorites in American soccer history in Lloyd Sam is going to look to put on a show down there in Miami.
I think Lloyd will do really well. Obviously, he likes being down in Miami. He likes the weather. I think he's excited to be moving into this league and hopefully lead this team or that team onto big things this year.
Good work into the feet of Mines. Fernandez now closed down quickly. Back to Lemma. Lemma trying to switch the field, turned over, and Fernandez clears it out of his side very quickly. So New York now, even on numbers after the injury to Boateng. Turnover there from Kilwine. Guenzati looking to get forward quickly. Big switch of the field, just a little bit too wide for Murphy. Pull back now. Hilton trying to get a shot away. It's blocked. And Wheel able to clear it out of his own box.
Yeah, I think John will be happy with the ball played there. I think they need Jared to be a little bit strong there and try to win that ball, because if you don't get that right, that's an instant counterattack, and you could see how it played out there. But they have to be smarter there.
So this game's starting to open up a little bit more between these two sides.
Never easy coming into a game this early when you're not prepared and didn't get a full warm-up, so I think Preston will have to really build himself in, and you know, it's, as I said, not easy coming into a game this early.
For fans who don't know, and this is from someone who's seen it but doesn't know the exact details, as a substitute, you warm up before the game, and you warm up progressively during the game?
Right. Yeah, you know, for the majority of the first half, you're not doing much. Some teams are different. Maybe like you see Tampa right now, they get their guys up, but in my experience, it's not a whole lot going on. You do stuff before the game. You kind of are sitting the majority of the first half, but then the second half you're warming up and trying to get ready.
And do you warm up full before the game if you're not starting?
For the most part, no. I think you're playing two-touch. So, like I said, a lot of teams are different, but I think for the majority, you wouldn't say you're getting the best warm-up if you're not starting, at least in my experience.
And another early substitution coming here in this one. So the first game of the season, I've already seen an injury for New York Red Bulls 2. Now Kyle Murphy forced off early, and it'll be Juan Tejada to take his place. Tejada, we mentioned, coming off his rookie year, 21 starts, 10 goals in his rookie year, including against New York Red Bulls 2, twice down in Tampa early last year. Tejada, Panamanian native, a very active, exciting young player for Neil Collins to bring on here.
Tampa's very high on him. Obviously, he's a prolific goal scorer for them. So just another person for the Red Bulls to make sure they're keeping their eye on.
Set piece here, floated in by Stroud and knocked away by Scarlett at the far post. It'll be another corner kick coming here for New York.
Pretty good delivery there from Jared. I think they really want to focus on Joe using that height, using that build, and make sure he's hunting the ball. I think that, you know, you've got to take advantage of that, and you really want him to be aggressive on these set pieces and really hunt the ball and try to get a goal.
So change here, it'll be Lemma to take this in-swinger. Flicked on at the near post, knocked around, still alive. Fernandez heads it on goal, and it finally ends up in the hands of Loro.
That's exactly what we were talking about. Good delivery from Lemma. Alex does a good job at get his head on that ball and flick it into the back post. Unlucky not to get a goal there.
So chaos across the box, and for Tampa Bay, they'll be breathing a sigh of relief as that ball fell into the hands of Laura, and a chance to take the lead here. Guenzati, a long touch, and Lapsley able to close it down. Flaggett stayed down there. Basically the two best looks of this first half coming just about 20 seconds apart here for both teams.
Red Bull's pretty lucky there. Obviously, thinking Guenzati was offsides. He played the line well. They, as I said, they need to make sure they're keeping an eye on him, but they didn't do so there. Very lucky that he took a big touch there, and Lapsley with doing a good job to take advantage of that big touch and come out and be aggressive.
All over the top, lands for Fernandez. Omir Fernandez hitting that one first time, just a few inches wide.
Yeah, I think that's an underrated part of Alex's game, his aerial ability. I think the New York Red Bulls has targeted him in the past in the air, and I think Omir's got to be a little bit more calm there. He does a good job to lay it off to him, and Omir lashed at it a little bit. I think he's got to be a little bit more calm. Put that one on frame.
The USL Championship returns to the ESPN networks in iconic fashion tonight. You can catch the USL Championship on ESPN as two U.S. soccer legends go head-to-head for the first time ever in the USL. Landon Donovan's San Diego Loyal hosting the Las Vegas Lights. That one tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN News. What a world we live in. Landon Donovan running a USL team. Tim Howard, GM and starting goalkeeper for Memphis, and Eric Winalda, GM and head coach for the Las Vegas Lights. There is a lot going on.
It's an exciting time in the American soccer landscape. Obviously, you got some legends playing integral roles on these clubs, and we'll see how they all pan out.
And for a guy in Landon Donovan who always did things differently, but has been so passionate about developing the next generation of American players and helping that generation of players deal with pressure and what you do in your career. Perfect spot for him to run his own club build his own coaching staff, his own front office, and they're going to be very competitive immediately, right? Early on.
It's very exciting.
Stroud now in some space to the feet of Fernandez. To Zayats. Fernandez now dropping deep. Goes wide for Egbo. Egbo curls it in. Had it on at the near post there from Mines and out for a goal kick.
It's a better sequence of events for the Red Bulls. This is how they want to play. They want to play quickly. Good combination. Omer gets it wide to Manny. Egbo gets his head up. Good delivery. Unlucky not to put it on frame there, but that's better for the Red Bulls. I think that's how they want to play. They want to be aggressive and play quickly, and now it's you can see them starting to get into this game a little more.
And you mentioned it off the top, but not a lot of size up front with Mines and Fernandez. They're players that want to combine. They want the ball on the ground, whether to run onto it over the top or to drop in and play with those midfielders. And you've got 4 players in the front of the attack that are clean on the ball that are very dangerous.
Yeah, that's exactly how they want to play.
Loro turns it over and Will tries to shoot. It's knocked down onto the feet of Mines now. And the offside flag goes up against Ben Mines. The crowd not happy with that one. And I think that's one of those rare times when the goalkeeper has passed the last man.
That's right. You don't see that a lot. And I think the fans here today will be learning a lesson on that. I think not a lot of them understand that rule. It's one of the ones like I said, you don't see very often. Unlucky. Alex looked up and tried to get one on net, and then Ben was called offside. But I think a nice lesson for the fans here today.
To explain what we're talking about, most people assume there has to be one defender between a player and the goal to keep you on side. It's actually 2 players. You always are assuming the goalkeeper is one of those players. Sometimes, like that, Evan Loro coming off his line will actually leave just the one defender between an attacking player and the opposing goal. I saw it called once in a World Cup game against Mexico.
Really?
And I thought it was no other way to word it, ballsiest call I'd ever seen in my entire life in a World Cup match. But it's the right call to make.
Right. I mean, laws of the game are the laws for a reason.
Just don't tell any fans that anywhere in the world, especially if there's been video review after the play.
Right.
New York Red Bulls, too, of course, a large part of VAR history. First ever team to use it in a live competitive game. Evan Loro has had a couple dangerous moments over the last 10 or so minutes, but you have to think in general for Neil Collins, with his team going on the road, a solid start to this one.
Yeah, you're first game of the year on the road. You're looking to get good opportunities and take advantage. Obviously, they've had those opportunities, so I'm sure they're going to be kicking themselves, if they aren't able to pull out a result today. So I think they're going to be looking to try to get, take advantage of these moments. And for the Red Bulls, you're trying to limit these as best as possible. And you can see them starting to get into the game more and more. And so I think we're starting to see the tide shift a little bit here. So I think the Red Bulls are starting to get a little slowly more and more into this game.
For these players, it's not just about learning each other a little bit for New York, but learning a new system, or at times, or at least a new formation in this 4-2-2-2, a style that the Red Bulls too have played in the past, but not over the last 18 months. So for this group, really something they've not dealt with. Is it a change for the players, or is it so similar to what you've already done?
There's definitely little bits here and there that change. For the most part, it's tougher to press out of this system. At times, you want to stay as compact as possible and really lure them into bad moments. Triggers, as we would say, or as John mentioned before the game, I think.
Scarlett blocks that one. It goes over the end line. So it will be a corner kick coming here for New York.
You're trying to limit the space between the lines, and so I think when you do open up, it's easier for the opponents to break down your lines, and it's tougher for you to press, so you're trying to stay as compact as possible.
Corner kick coming here. New York was dangerous on their last opportunity. This one curled a little deeper, headed away by Lasso. Still alive on the top of the box. Bontung into Egbo's feet, and Egbo's shot curls wide.
Ambitious effort there from Egbo. I think we can look possibly to recycle that one back into the box instead of trying to worldie there, but
Come on, Connor, you've been there.
it's a great effort. You lick your lips when you get those chances.
Was it
instead.
FC Cincinnati last year where you put in the top corner?
That's right, so you know what? Good for him. Go for it again.
I worked with someone who covers Major League Soccer who said, has Connor Lade always been a number 10 and we've just been playing him out of position for 8 years?
Who knows? I guess we'll never know, right? Ask my men's league team.
Yeah, I was going to say the 5v5 leagues, they'll learn.
That's right.
Just about 5 minutes left to play here in the first half, the opening half of the season. New York Red Bulls 2 hosting the Tampa Bay Rowdies. New York 4-2-1 all time against the Rowdies, 3-0-0 here at MSU Soccer Park. Of course, for New York, their 5th year of existence, they've made the postseason every year. They won the 2016 regular season USL Championship as well as USL Cup against Swope Park Rangers. A yellow card will be shown here to Alex Muil, the 2nd yellow card of the game. So Alex doing what he does best.
You know, Alex is very good at being an agitator against, other teams. He works hard. He does get mixed up in some of these moments sometimes, so I think it's got to be a little bit smarter there not to draw a yellow. But I think he's arguing that a player was down, so they weren't going to be playing anyway. But I think we got to be a little bit smarter there not to take the foul, especially the way he plays and how aggressive he is. You don't want to be sitting on a yellow card because that prohibits you from maybe doing some of the stuff that you like to do as a player.
Alex Muil here, playing with New York Red Bulls 2. It is just his first appearance since May of 2018 in the USL Championship. Last year, started 17 games for New York Red Bulls, had 3 goals and 3 assists in MLS action as Tejada gets on the ball for the first time. Muil out of Georgetown, which has become a good pipeline for New York Red Bulls Academy players to go there and then come back and play with New York. This one gets up the field quickly. Mines trying to get out in front of him. Lays it off, but not strong enough for Muil as New York had numbers in transition. And now Joe Fala covering the other way defensively as Tejada puts pressure on.
These are the moments the Red Bulls like to talk about, going 100 to 70, slowing down a little bit, making sure that you're completing this pass and giving yourself a good opportunity.
Dembuya laying it all the way back. Fernandez wins it for his side. And Stroud looking to open it up the other way. Mines with some space to run. He's got Fernandez to his left, can't get it to him. And Tampa Bay wins the ball back.
Another example I'm talking about there, I think.
End-to-end stuff here at MSU Soccer Park. Guanzati to Tejada. Tejada chopped down at the roots by Kilwine. Will be a yellow card here for Preston Kilwine and a huge opportunity coming on a set piece for Tampa.
Like I said before, these 170 moments, if Ben is able to look up a little bit quicker there, you can see O'Meara on the run and just lay one out there for him, but doesn't do so, holds onto the ball a little bit too long, and when he finally does try to play it, it was cut out, and now they come right back downfield, and it's an instant counterattack like we mentioned a couple plays before, but hard-nosed challenge there from Kilwine, I think. Picks up.
Making sure he gets everything.
I think, yeah, like you say, the ball or the man, never both, right?
So, Kilwine alongside Fala in that wall. Huge opportunity coming for the Rowdies. Hilton, set piece specialist with his right foot on this one. Leo Fernandez, the New York native, sitting on his left foot on this one as well. That official makes sure everyone's in position. Opportunity coming from 20 yards out here. Opening half of the season. Tampa Bay Rowdies looking for their first goal of 2020, and Hilton puts it right in the hands of Lapsley.
Red Bulls lucky there to come away unscathed. Great opportunity there. I think you can't draw it up any better for a free kick. I think it was a perfect location. Lapsley does a good job to make a good save there.
Hilton trying to go over the wall. Ended up a little too central, though, on that shot. So a few minutes left to play here in the first half. This game's starting to open up between these two sides. Fella going back to his goalkeeper. Connor, if you're Neil Collins and his staff as this one's turned over, Guenzati's pressure almost creating a goal out of nothing.
That was, again, good opportunity for Tampa. One they want to take advantage of, but if I'm the coach, I want to get Leo Fernandez into this game. I think he's been quiet for the majority of this first half. As we talked about before, he's a major player, big playmaker for them, and I think they're going to want to get him involved. I think that will be a talking point in the locker room.
Especially against a newcomer in Agbo at right back, you'd think as this game wears along, there'll be opportunities to run at him to get space down that wing. I mentioned last year, Fernandez 10 assists, starting as a left wing back all season for this group.
Big job for Agbo in his first game, trying to limit his opportunities, but he's got a very hard worker in front of him with Alex Munoz, and he's going to help him, and so I think it's a testament to them.
Stroud with a little space to the feet of Fernandez. Fernandez trying to lay it off, gets it through, but Forrest Lasso there. Lasso, 3 straight years USL Best 11, including a USL Defender of the Year award in the middle as Wheel breaks through, tries to cut it back for a teammate, turned over, and the deflection ends in Loro's hands.
As you see in the early goings of seasons, a little bit of rust in the final third. Red Bulls are putting themselves in very good spots, but just the final piece is missing right now. I think once they settle in, and obviously as you play more games, the sharpness will continue to grow, but I think they are putting themselves in good spots, just the last final piece is missing.
Opportunity starting to come for New York. They do have attacking reserve options. Sebastian Elney, who was pushing for a start at one of the 2 forward spots coming into this game. Omer Fernandez turning and pulling that one wide.
It's the second time today Jared Stroud has done a great job at getting a quick restart off a throw-in. Puts it on a platter for Omer Fernandez, and again, 170 moments, you got to slow down a little bit and make sure you're putting this ball on frame, and again, he just rushes it a little bit and pulls it wide. So I think Red Bulls are, like we said, they're slowly making their way into this game and giving themselves great chances, and so they have to slow down, make sure they're taking their time a little bit more to get a good effort and try to get a goal.
Fernandez, just his 4th ever USL Championship appearance, had 2 goals, 2 assists in MLS action last year, as well as 1 in Open Cup play. As Wheel goes down into the corner, his cross blocked, but Fernandez, 2 good looks that have fallen to him in this first half. Still looking for the finish for the home side, as we are 2 minutes into a minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time. Here at MSU Soccer Park, David Goss and Connor Lade with you on ESPN Plus for the opening of the 2020 USL Championship season. And 2 teams in Tampa Bay and New York that expect to be facing off maybe in the playoffs at the end of this year. And as this first half's gone along, we've started to see the quality in these 2 sides.
Yeah, you see both sides getting good opportunities. Now, you know, when you come out in the second half, you're going to want to take advantage of these, maybe sneak one before the break, but I think both teams are, you know, they've made their stamp on this game so far. I think they're just a little bit of a final product missing, and so I think they're both going to go in the locker rooms, try to regroup, and see if they can find a way to really break the deadlock.
2 early substitutions, 1 for either team. Roy Boateng forced off with an injury early on, and then Kyle Murphy taken off early as well for Neil Collins. Heading into the locker room here, Connor, when you talked about it, Tampa Bay, hey, have to be happy with the performance for John Wolinek's side. What's the message here in the halftime locker room?
Yeah, they're going to want to get in the locker room, regroup. You know you've had some good chances. Like I said, final product. That's what it's going to come down to, I think. And then on the defensive side, you've given up some big chances as well. So you're going to want to regroup, make sure you're talking, communicating in the locker rooms, break down a little bit of video, and see how you can avoid these mistakes in the second half.
Preseason rust still being knocked off, but you can see why these are 2 of the preseason favorites in the Eastern Conference because of the quality on the field for both sides. 0-0 at halftime. A number of opportunities either way. We'll be back in just a moment with first half highlights and second half action here on ESPN+.
Red isn't just our color. It's a passion that beats in the hearts of everyone who stands with us. All 11 on the field. The thousands in the stands. Across our 2 states. All driving us forward as one. Red never sleeps. Red never quits. Because here, the difference between winning and losing doesn't just happen on the field. It runs much deeper than that.
You've been hearing a lot about 5G, but there's 5G.
And then there's Verizon 5G.
We're building the most powerful 5G experience for America.
It's more than 10 times faster than some other 5G networks.
And it's rolling out in cities across the country.
So people can experience speeds that ultra-wideband can deliver.
1.7 gigs here in Houston.
1.8 gigs here in frigid Omaha.
Almost 2 gigs here in Los Angeles. That's outrageous.
It's like an 8-lane highway compared to a 2-lane dirt road.
Sun is shining in northern New Jersey. A perfect day to open up USL Championship action for the 2020 season. David Goss and Connor Lade alongside you here on ESPN+. The fans out enjoying what they've seen in this first half. Connor, and coming into the game, we highlighted 2 big players, and they've both played a big role in this first half. Let's start with Evan Loro, as you see Guenzati's name there, but Loro, our star player, and he's had a little bit of action here.
Yeah, Loro's been good when he's been called upon. Obviously, he had a couple big saves throughout the first half. I think the Red Bulls, could give him a little bit more action if they put some on frame, and then we'll see how he holds up. But he's been good so far in his debut with the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
And the man trying to put him under pressure, who's been dangerous so far in this game, Jared Stroud, New York Red Bull 2, all-time leader in assists, had 15 goals last season, upgraded from number 50 to number 8 this year, and you're starting to see what makes him so dangerous.
Yeah, Jared's always been a very productive player. You always see him in the score sheet, whether it's goals or assists, but the most impressive thing for me in that first half was the quick restarts. I think he could have grabbed a couple assists off those in the beginning of the first, or going through the first half, and so it'll be exciting to see what he can do in the second half, but that impressed me, that he can quick restart and just give good chances.
Jared Stroud, always his head on, always dangerous. Let's talk a little bit more about Roy Boateng. Unfortunately, forced off with an injury here in this first half. The number 16 overall super draft pick in 2019 out of UC Davis, a commanding center back, a guy who fits perfectly with, when you look at Tim Parker, what the New York Red Bulls like to do, slowly getting himself healthy and learning the system. Yeah,
Roy's been a great player for the club. Obviously, he's been unlucky with the injury last year, and he worked very hard to get himself back. They've always been very impressed with his work ethic, and so I think for him, we're crossing our fingers and hoping that he isn't banged up too bad, but he's going to be a big player for the club this year.
Dakar Ghana native forced off early here, but his team's still hanging on. 0-0 here at MSU Soccer Park. We've got more action coming up in just a moment here on ESPN+.
Come on, come on. Nice and tight here. Bring it in tighter. Nice and tight.
Everything we do matters. Very few people in the world ever get an opportunity like this.
We talked about making history, right? And what are you going to do to change history? When it's your turn to make a tackle, are you going to make that tackle? Are you going to score the goal? Are you going to make the save and throw a few miracles for us? Grab your freaking moments. That's my point.
Huge credit to every one of you. Massive performance coming on, the way that you press, and please for every one of you.
This is an awesome time, and we're going to show them that we're for real. We are for real because we all believe in each other, right? This is our moment. This is our moment to shine.
Every single day, guys, we have to fight to create our identity.
Take your moment within the games and make them your moments. Let's go out there and kick some ass. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Two U.S. men's national team legends are set to square off as Landon Donovan leads San Diego Loyal SC into their inaugural USL Championship match against Eric Winalda and the Las Vegas Lights. In front of a raucous crowd at Torero Stadium, it's Donovan versus Winalda, this time from the sidelines, as the USL Championship returns to ESPN Networks. Don't miss out. The 2020 championship season kicks off Saturday, March 7th at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Hey guys, how's it going? Kelsey Steele, Scott Stewart here from USL HQ in beautiful Tampa, Florida. How better to get this season going than laying out our top signings
to get a more advanced position on the field?
Sit. It's Jimmy Oxford! Himself from attacking the back four, gets that chance to bury it. That gives Earl Edwards Jr. absolutely no chance. Why? Because it's in the top corner. You're never going to have a chance. It's over the wall. It's the perfect.
Popped up more with the left.
Oh!
And more with the second goal. He now has a brace.
Look at the touch there. That's Soler. Great ball over the top by Wehan. And then how about this shot here?
Well, the 2020 USL Championship season has finally kicked off. Last night, Orange County SC and El Paso Locomotive facing off, as well as Tacoma and Reno in the Western Conference. Of course, they are all chasing Real Monarchs, who won the 2020 USL Championship in Louisville. A good upset. They'll start their campaign tonight against San Antonio FC. And the question everyone is asking is, can Phoenix Rising do it again? Setting a points record last year, and Solomon Asante leading the league in basically every single category. It's a new look Western Conference with, of course, San Diego Loyals kicking off tonight in front of a sellout. You take a look at the East for New York Red Bulls 2 and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. They were pushing for first place most of last year. They fell off along the last month of the season where Pittsburgh took over. Bob Lilly rebuilding his squad in Pittsburgh. Indy 11 strengthening once again. The additions of Cam Lindley, Drew Connor coming back one more time. And you look at Dave Sarakin, North Carolina FC, all the way down. A lot of talent in the Eastern Conference. We already mentioned Miami FC, one of the new additions in the East. That will make things just a little bit harder. Louisville City getting it started on the road this year as they are waiting for their new building to open up, the latest soccer-specific stadium in the United States. It's going to be beautiful for what has become the best club in the USL, leading North Carolina FC 1-0 and Memphis 9-1 in the Tim Howard era. Kicking off just a little bit later tonight, the New Jersey legend playing under Tim Mulqueen, another New Jersey legend out in Memphis. And that, of course, all coming to you on ESPN+. But let's lock back in on what we've seen here, Connor. New York Red Bulls 2, the bulk of possession in this first half, but you have to say opportunities pretty much even between the two sides.
Yeah, the Red Bulls have had a lot of the ball. Obviously, that's not always the case, and not necessarily the comfort zone sometimes where you like to be pressing and defending, but when you win that ball back, you want to have good product in the final third, and both teams seem to have been split good chances, and we'll see if anyone can break the deadlock here in the second half.
3 yellow cards late in that first half as it started to get chippy. These two teams know how valuable these points can be head-to-head as we move on along the 2020 season. We've got 45 more minutes coming for you. We expect some goals between these two teams, all coming up here on ESPN+.
Red isn't just our color. It's a passion that beats in the hearts of everyone who stands with us. All 11 on the field, the thousands in the stands, across our 2 states, all driving us forward as one. Red never sleeps. Red never quits. Because here, the difference between winning and losing doesn't just happen on the field. It runs much deeper than that.
We believe healthcare can keep getting better. That we can make it simpler, kinder, and even more miraculous. So we'll keep pushing ourselves to make our best even better. Because that means you will keep getting better too. Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better.
New York Red Bulls 2 hosting Tampa Bay Rowdies, the opener of the 2020 season on ESPN+. No goals, but a lot of opportunities in this first half. David Goss and Connor Lade with you. It started out early for the away side as Tampa got a nice look.
Yeah, Tampa really started off pretty well this game. They had a couple early looks. They were unfortunate not to take advantage of them, but I think the Red Bulls started to make their way into this game. Obviously, set pieces were big for them early, and New York wasn't able to capitalize on them, but they slowly made their way into the game, and I think they had great looks as well.
New York, a young team, a young group against an experienced side in the Rowdies. Leo Fernandez didn't get a lot of success coming forward. A few half chances he was able to create, though, early on.
Yeah, Leo's going to be a big point of emphasis for the second half for them to really get him involved this game, and he's the key to their success, so they're going to want to get him involved as much as possible.
One of the best chances early on here, knocked around the box and then safely into the hands of Evan Laura, but you saw set pieces get more and more dangerous as the half went along.
Right. New York wanted to get guys on the front post. The delivery was there, but the numbers weren't necessarily there, but once they did get someone there, they got a good chance from it.
Best look of the first half for Tampa, and Guenzati, 19 goals last year, just a little long on that touch.
Yeah, Guenzati, a little bit of early season rust, but I think Lapsley did a good job to be aggressive there and keep New York with a clean sheet.
Fans in the area, don't forget, next week you can come out. Friday night action, Hartford Athletic coming to MSU Soccer Park. Of course, that means dollar hot dog night, so a must attend. And then New York going on the road to a strengthened Charlotte Independence team, picking up 2 players on loan from Nashville just a few days ago, as well as Dane Kelly. And on the flip side for Tampa, their first intra-Florida matchup against Miami FC, that one coming up next week. And then they head home finally to what will be an Al Lang Stadium with a standing-only fan section behind their goal to host North Carolina. And it is going to be one of the toughest atmospheres in USL this year to face off against this Tampa Bay side. These two teams back out here for this second half for the opening game of the season. One change for either team early on. And these two teams who we saw, Connor, slowly really find their feet and find who they wanted to be in that first half, pick up the second half at the same spot as Tampa looks to go early down the line.
Yeah, we'll see how both teams come out in the second half, if there's any adjustments. No substitutions, so we've got the same rosters for both, but let's see if any team has a specific game plan adjustment.
We'll blast that one long. New York Red Bulls 2 starting in a 4-2-2-2 system. They are going to play for the bulk of this 2020 season. Joe Falla starting at center back, at left center back, alongside Roy Boateng, who was forced off with an injury in the first half. So Preston Kilwine partnering him at center back now as New York pushes into the attack. Manny Egbo here, starting at right back, his first ever appearance in an official match in New York Red Bull colors. Sam Bontung gets the start at left back. Kyle Zayats and the captain, Chris Lemma, in the holding midfield spots. Alex Muil, Jared Stroud, Omir Fernandez, and Ben Mines, the attacking four for New York in front of that base in central midfield. Connor, we talked about it in the first half. Not a lot of size in that front line. A lot of good technical players, a lot of speed as well. So they want to get the ball on the ground. We saw them start to connect as the half wore along.
Right. You don't want to be playing these aerial balls. Obviously, Tampa's got a big, commanding back line, and so you want to beat them with speed. You want to turn them around. And, you know, they were able to do so. They had some good chances, but I think they can have even more if they pick their head up a little bit earlier, play that ball behind. They do have guys getting on the run, so they just have to be a little bit cleaner and take advantage of those looks.
For Tampa, 5-3-2 under Neil Collins. A lot of new faces in the back for them. Evan Loro, the newcomer in goal. 4 new defenders along that back line. Dembuya at right wing back. Jordan Scarlett, Forrest Lasso, and Aaron Guillen, the 3 center backs. And then Leo Fernandez at left wing back. Holding midfield 2 of Lewis Hilton and Dominic Oduro. Zach Steinberger just in front of them. And then Sebastian Guenzati, the captain, starting at one of the forwards. And a first half substitute, Juan Tejada, coming on for Kyle Murphy at the other forward position. Should bring a little bit more athleticism, a little bit more pressure in the press for this Tampa side in the attack.
Red Bulls have to make sure they're keeping an eye on Tejada. Obviously, he's had a lot of goals for them, so there's 2 very potent attackers up there right now, and they've got to be on their toes all the second half.
Scarlett going to battle with Fernandez, who wins it. Stroud now cuts in field, clip to the far post. Wheel heads it back, and no one there. Egbo steps forward, wins it back for New York. And that one deflected out for a throw-in for New York.
It's unlucky there, Alex. The ball was played a little bit hung up in the wind, and he tried to redirect it back, but no one was there. Good job by Egbo to be in a good spot and give a second effort, and was able to keep the ball down there. That's the type of things that he's going to learn along the way. It's a great positioning from him. They like to be on the front foot. They call it rest defense, and they want to put themselves in good positions where they can sustain attacks, and he did a good job there.
New York Red Bulls, too, giving their debuts to 3 players along the back line here today. Egbo alongside Bontung at left back, who's a former Red Bull Academy player, coming off 4 successful years at Marist, where he played in central midfield, both defensively and attacking, so learning the fullback spot. And then Joe Falla, a 4-year starter at center forward in college, had played a little center back in his career, but he's also being converted to that back line. He's got one specific skill set that they like, which is he's 6'7".
Something I'm not familiar with. I'm not used to any of that atmosphere up there.
A high altitude game for Joe Falla, a New Jersey native, currently still in classes at Ramapo College just up the street. But a player New York saw in Combine play a little defensively. Then they found out, oh, this guy's never played on the back line before. He's probably got some room for improvement. We like him.
We talked with Coach Wolonek before the game, and they were keen on him. They had their eyes on him before the draft, and he went through the draft, wasn't selected, and they were really wanted to get him into the team, and so they pulled the trigger, and seemed like he was pretty excited to be part of the roster as well.
New York Red Bulls, of course, have had success signing undrafted players out of college. Florian Velo, at a local rider who had 2 assists last week in his 2nd return from an ACL injury. We are so happy to see Florian back and doing what he loves, and once again, looking fit. I mean, if I could be that fit coming off 2 ACL surgeries, I would probably tear my ACL twice.
I don't know about that, but
Guy can run.
Flo's look great to start the year. Obviously, everyone's thrilled to see him back out there doing what he loves, and he looks like he's in top form, and everyone's really excited.
And he said, he had opportunities to maybe play with other USL setups, but he saw the pathway in New York, and he's now the example when guys like Joe Fala and Boontown come in to say, look what you can do here, how you can progress into the MLS level, and how you can be a difference maker at that level if you put in the work here and you get locked into what John Wolyniek's trying to teach you.
All right, these guys are so lucky to have this system in place for them.
Guenzati, his cross deflected away.
Obviously, I'm sure guys would have killed to have a setup like this coming through. And
you don't have to say guys, you can say yourself.
All right. Not that the reserve league wasn't great, but Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. were a little bit rough after games. But
Fernandez clips this one over, and Wheel tries to bring it down. He does. And now the whistle goes for handball.
But the Red Bulls have great guys to look up to, have been through it, and really have shown that if you put in the hard work, you can shine in the system.
The cross coming in here from Fernandez, and Wheel. He's had a couple chances here on the far side of the box, just couldn't bring that one down cleanly.
Yeah, just a little bit of the service. If it can be a little bit cleaner and set him up a little bit better, then they can take advantage of it. Unlucky there on the handball.
Unfortunately, I found in my notes, Alex Wheel actually played in a Red Bull reserve game in 2013.
There you go. So he is quite familiar with it.
So the reserve league lives.
It lives on. Glad it can be represented.
If you ever want to hear some of the stories about the wild, wild west of American and Canadian soccer, you got to hear the stories about MLS reserve league games.
Just say one Bradley Wright Phillips made his first debut for the New York Red Bulls in a reserve game in Dallas in the morning in about 130 degrees.
And then said, maybe I don't belong here. Maybe England's not that bad.
It's a tough transition, but I think he did just fine.
The all-time career goal-scoring leader in New York Red Bull history. Currently wearing the black and gold for LAFC. Waiting to make his debut for that side. His brother, Sean Wright Phillips, played for New York Red Bulls. Two played for the Phoenix Rising as well in USL Championship action. Dembuya flying forward. Gets the cross in at the near post, knocked down by Tejada. And it'll go out off the deflection for a corner kick coming for the Rowdies.
Big chance there for Tampa. Dembuya was aggressive, played in a good ball. Fortunately, Kilwine was there to break it up.
Preston Kilwine out of Florida Gulf Coast University, played for the U23s for the Tampa Bay Rowdies a few years ago, alongside Kevin Mendoza, who was actually on the bench for the Rowdies in this game, the number 10 Mexican-American we expect to see a little bit later on as Hilton serves this one in. Headed down by Lasso and cleared by Muil. Knocked around, and New York will look to counter. Stroud breaks out. He's got Mines down the middle. That ball pulls Mines just a little bit wide. As Mines now picks it up. 1v1 with Scarlett, his former teammate. Off to Stroud again. And Stroud has it knocked away by Fernandez. Good recovery there from the Rowdies to close off that counterattack.
Good job by Fala there. I think John will, I'm sure, talk to him about being a little tighter to Guenzati so he can limit that from the start to begin with, but he does a good job to recover and break up that play. Guenzati didn't have much upfield, so he had to try to do it himself, but Fala was up to the test.
So we are now just about 10 minutes into the second half. These teams starting to open it up once again. Lemma steps forward. Dembuya wins it from him. New York starting to crank the pressure up. This is where New York finds their success as the game flows along. To hit with a lot of energy all of a sudden, and at times over the last 3-4 years under John Wolyniek, it'll be a 0-0 game. All of a sudden it's 3-0 within 10 minutes.
Right, I think this is the comfort zone. I think it's definitely tough to play against New York in second halves. They always seem to find an extra gear and really find a lot of success. And so I think it had a couple good chances. They just had to be a little bit cleaner and really, like I said, find that final product in the final third. But I think they've come off on a pretty good foot, and see if they can capitalize on some of these chances.
We've talked about it all day as the professional soccer scene growing and growing. Guenzati takes this one down. Steinberger flying into the box, lays it off for Hilton. Now Fernandez gets it into the feet of Steinberger, trying to turn in the box. Gets a cross away, still alive for Tampa, and Leo Fernandez has the opening goal of the 2020 season. Back home in the New York metro area, he's put his side on top.
Great goal there from Fernandez. Obviously, Red Bull, they got turned around a little bit. Lapsley was unsure of whether to go for the ball or not, decided against it. And what a finish from Fernandez. Like we said, they want to get him involved, and obviously they did, and now they're up 1-0.
Neil Collins and his staff watching this broadcast clearly, as Connor Lade said going into halftime, get that man involved. He got high up the field. 4 goals last year, opening up the scoring this year for the North Babylon native out of Stony Brook University. And you could see his family and friends jubilant right now, and you could see him point to them when he scored that goal.
And we got a lot of rowdy Leo Fernandez fans up on top of the garage there. They're pretty pumped right now. Obviously, he's got a very cultured left foot. Does well to, like I said before, how the Rebels, they need to calm down. He did it great at calming down, really assessing the situation, and turn that ball with the outside of his left foot into the side netting.
The Rowdies take the lead here, and you can stay up to date with news and highlights from across the USL Championship and League One by downloading the official league app today. Search United Soccer League in the App Store or in Google Play, and download today to enjoy news, giveaways, competitions, and more. The league's growing and growing. USL League One adding a host of teams in Fort Lauderdale as well as in New England and Omaha, and the USL Championship, as we've said, adding some teams in Miami and San Diego that are going to help raise the level of the game here in this country. A moment there for Leo Fernandez.
Another local guy, nice homecoming for him, I'm sure, just as he drew it up.
Some good soccer in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area.
There's a decent talent base here. I think we're pretty lucky to be in this market, and there's a lot of great professionals to come out of here.
There's a foul called here in midfield. Furious from the Rowdies. When you look at the generations coming down from coaches and Bob Bradley and Bruce Arena to Peter Vermees and Alexi Lawless, and of course all of the stars over the last 10, 15 years that have come out of the New Jersey, New York area. I think Jersey has a shout for the best soccer state in the country if you put together the all-time best 11s.
I'm a little biased, but I think I'm going to have to agree with you there that it's
I'm not saying
definitely
it. I'm from New York.
Oh, your words, not mine.
Yeah. I'm just saying some people say that. California would disagree. Texas would disagree. But
I think there's only one way to find out. I think they might have to make this happen in a little tournament.
What a game that would be. It would be a lot of fun to watch. So many great players from the area. And for New York Red Bulls, that's the point of all of this, is the talent's here. How can you now develop it for your system? And we haven't seen as much yet here in week 1, but you'll see the likes of Didi Traore, a 17-year-old that New York's really high on. Amir Daly, a 17-year-old they're high on. Omar Sow, who's on the bench here today. Of course, Ben Mines and John Tolkien. So a lot of young players coming through the system for New York. Right now they're learning how hard it could be at the professional level, as Tampa's got the lead here heading into the final 30 minutes of this one.
This is where you find out a lot about yourself as a team in tough moments when you're down. I think you got to rely on these leaders. You know, someone like an Alex Muil, Jared Stroud, these guys have to take the team by the back of the neck and really just be like, we can do this. And so I think they'll be looking at these guys to make sure they push them on and make sure they can overcome this 1-0 deficit.
And for New York, the game gets a little tougher when they're trailing because they like the game to be open. And for the Rowdies now, you'd expect the 5 to sit a little deeper You expect the team to be a little safer in possession, not play really in their half, a lot of which leads to New York attacks normally.
Right, you're going to see the 10 defending together. You're going to see them dropping probably into a little bit more of a compact block and just daring New York to break them down. And so we'll see, I'm sure New York have a lot more of the ball and see if they can actually break them down.
For this New York Red Bull 2 side there. MLS brethren, New York Red Bulls, a 1-1 draw out in Salt Lake. It was a 91st minute goal by Damir Kreilach to equal what Christian Casares, former New York Red Bull 2 player, did in the 13th minute. A beautiful goal from him from outside of the 18. Casares, potentially the next big star to come through the New York Red Bull 2 system. Fernandez, the goal scorer, flies forward here. Another chance off the post, and Tejada offside as he rolls off into his celebration, but the flag up there. And heartbreaking for the Rowdies and a lifeline for New York.
Another great play from Fernandez. What a shot, you know, another outside of the foot, left-footed shot there. Unlucky not to squeak in off the post, and unfortunate for Tejada, he was offsides.
And for Fernandez, no one ever stepped to him as he came in and eventually gets his laces around that one, the outside of the foot, curls it off the post.
Yeah, you want your center backs to be making sure that your outside backs let them know that you're there, that they can be aggressive, and I think that's something, you know, whether it's you or the outside back, you got to be aggressive there, especially with a big player like Fernandez. You can't give him that time and space or it'll hurt you.
And it highlights the fact that no one in this back five for New York has ever played together before. Only Kilwine has ever played in a USL Championship game before. And Tampa's starting to find the holes in that inexperienced back line. It'll be a free kick here as you see Sebastian Elney getting ready to come on for New York. Lasso heads it down. Kilwine knocks it away. Steinberger wanted a handball in the box on New York. The call not coming. Guenzati pressing back, and New York able to get it out of their box. This is the game I think we thought we'd see the aggressiveness of both teams, the strength and physicality for Tampa, the experience, and then the risk-taking from New York, a young team, as they'll make this substitution. So it'll be wholesale changes here for New York. We'll start with this. Manny Egbo, his first performance in a New York Red Bull jersey done as Sebastian Elney will come on.
I think it was a good debut by Egbo. You know, your first real game, I think he showed up pretty well, obviously, just trying to get through it, get some good match fitness, and I think he held up pretty well.
So Sebastian Elney, a center forward coming on here out of Maryland, his second year of professional soccer out of Boca Raton. Had 11 starts last year, 4 goals.
We'll see what the Red Bulls do. They took off Egbo. They brought on an attacker, so we'll see if they're switching up the formation right now or they're just going to shuffle up the back line. It was looking like 3 maybe in the back, maybe a 3-5-2.
It looks like Ben Mines and Jared Stroud going out to wing back here as Kilwine, Fala, and Bontang will play as the 3 center backs. And Elney going in up top with Omir Fernandez. Elney coming back to help there, so.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Tampa doesn't have any plans on packing it in here. They're going after it. Obviously, they've had a couple good chances since the opening goal, and I think Red Bull's going to switch it up a little bit and see if they can find some success in this new formation.
For Coach Wolinek's side, they knew Manny Egbo wasn't 90 minutes fit. No other right back on the roster, so the sub was always going to be to bring on Kilwine and slide a few of the defenders around. Roy Boateng's injury early in the first half forced Kilwine on early, so took away the option to move that back line around as Elney here gets on the ball for the first time and Zayats draws a foul.
Good job by Zayats there to pick up the ball, push it forward, draw the foul, and give a yellow card to, I think it's Hilton, I believe.
Second yellow card of the game for the Rowdies. Fans, you can follow New York Red Bulls 2 and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, the rest of the USL Championship, all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the nearly 8 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Tejada flying forward here. Fala closes him down. A little support for Tejada if he can find it. Looking to scoop it for Fernandez, and Lapsley closes it down.
Yeah, Fala stepped a little bit there. Should have dropped, so he got caught a little bit, but he did a great job on his recovery speed to close Tejada back down and force him into a ambitious scoop pass over the top, and Lapsley was able to pick it up. So I think growing pains here for the New York Red Bulls, and Fala in his debut, but he did a good job to recover.
So a little over 30 minutes left to play here. Fala chasing back when Zadi trying to put the pressure on. He'll get called for the foul. And then complaints across the board from everyone.
Yeah, you can see Fala's got great speed for a 6'7" guy. He moves really well. I think he did a good job again. Good recovery speed, and is able to draw the foul there.
Kevin Broadley, our head official, on top of that one. Steinberger growing into this game in this second half. For this Tampa team, you've seen them, I think, step a little higher, get more numbers into the attack, and Tejada seems to have fit in perfectly.
Yeah, Tejada is really spearheading this attack right now. He's been very busy, giving New York a lot of problems right now, so they got to take advantage of really trying to limit his chances.
And of course, now more of a natural target forward option in Elney, as Mule draws the foul. Quickly taken by New York. Back into the attack. Kilwine wide for Stroud. 15 goals, 9 assists last year for Stroud as he gets that ball into the box. Zayats can't close on it. Fernandez knocks it away. The goal scorer doing the work defensively. In this one for New York. There was a loss down in Tampa to start out play last year for New York Red Bulls 2. They then hosted the Rowdies here at MSU Soccer Park in the middle of the summer as these two teams sat first and second in the league. Matthias Jorgensen had a brace in the first half of that one to help push New York above the Rowdies in the standings. Jorgensen out in Salt Lake with MLS side today. His teammates trying to do some similar goal scoring damage here late on. Follow with the big header. Lasso heads it right back.
New York's going to have to look to get some creativity in the final third. With Tampa sitting in a block right now, they're going to have to try to break them down, and that's only going to come from movement. So I'm sure Coach Wolenek is urging them on to play fast, make some runs behind, turn them around, and try to break this team down.
How tough is it for a group that hasn't played together that much, a lot of young players, to not be too urgent here where you start going long early when you've still got over 20 minutes left to play?
It's definitely going to be tough, but that's why they have to rely on these veterans to kind of settle them down. And it's only a one-goal game, so they're still in it right now. So they've got to look to them as a calming presence, and good job by Ben Mines there to draw a corner kick, and hopefully they can take advantage here.
Mines earns the corner. The teenager in his third year of professional soccer, homegrown for New York Red Bulls. Scored a goal last year against the Portland Timbers in MLS action. Did not score a goal in USL action. Corner kick coming. It'll be the captain, Lemma, to take it. Curls it in, headed away by Doumbia. Mboya goes up again over Lemma. And an easy foul call for Kevin Broadley.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they could get one of their bigger targets on that near post. I think that's maybe not ideal to have someone like a Ben Mines, maybe not his strongest suit to go up by that near post. Maybe if they could get one of their bigger guys to really redirect something on frame, that might might be better suited.
And Elney bringing a little more size, another option on those set pieces.
That would be another good option.
For Elney, probably the biggest benefactor of the shift to the 4-2-2-2, and didn't start a lot last year, not as comfortable as a winger, a wide attacker, but brought back this year to be a starter a lot in those top two forwards.
Yeah, they're going to look to him to be productive in the final third this year.
Tejada lays it off. Hilton coming forward. The Rowdies, a lot of confidence here since the goal. Ball played into transition. Elney, black shirts charging forward around him. Gets it to Muil. Now Stroud out wide, 1v1. Gets it into the box, and it goes through everyone. And will roll out for a goal kick.
Great play there by Elney. Great hold-up play. Did a good job to bring Muil into the game. He found Stroud, and unlucky. That's a great ball in there. I think they need to get some numbers in that box. Just unlucky a little bit too far.
And as a forward, you have to know Stroud's going to get some separation. He's going to get that ball in there. If you make the run, then opportunity will be there.
Right, Jared's got, he's got two good feet. He's comfortable on his left foot, and he can whip in a ball with his left foot as well as his right. And so you got to know when a guy like that's on the ball, you got to get those numbers in the box because he's one of your main playmakers. So I think New York's got to find a way to move upfield, get guys in the box, and try to capitalize on one of these chances.
Fala clips this one over the top. Scarlett turned around, recovers. Fala with a little nudge in the back of Tejada there, gets away with it. And the Rowdies back in possession. Turned over by Guenzati. Muil clips it forward for Stroud. Stroud once again, 1v1 on the wing. Gets to his left foot, to the far post. Elney's header is saved and cleared off the line. Elney, looking at the linesman, thought he had scored. And what a save by the former New York Red Bull two-man, Evan Loro. New York back into the attack. Muil with yellow shirts around him. Zayats can't find his feet again, and it's cleared away.
Great save there by Loro. As we said, Jared's dangerous on the wing there. Whips in a great ball. Unfortunate for Elney not to get on the score sheet there, but great save by Loro.
And finally, someone on the end of the Stroud service. Evan Loro steps up with the save. Another opportunity coming here.
Oof.
Cries from the crowd for penalty kick. And Kevin Broadley waves it on.
Mine's trying to draw that penalty. I don't know. Let's take a look here.
I think this is the save from Loro.
Yeah, I don't think he was in there. I think it was a great save. Elney was unlucky not to score there, but I don't know. We'll have to see if that was maybe try to get a replay of that one, but I don't know. Ben Mines maybe has a good case for a penalty there. Good ball by Jared Stroud.
One thing you can be sure of, Ben Mines will always try and earn a penalty. I cannot even imagine what he was like in training.
No, he's a pest out there. You know, he's always seems to be around the goal and trying to draw these fouls. So unlucky there not to.
Such a good young player, so much pace. Has struggled with some injuries his first 2 years. Hoping this year he gets some consistent playing time, can sort of prove who he is and start to build towards the rest of his career.
Yeah, he's shown, the flashes like you mentioned before the Portland goal. I think he was unlucky last year. Couldn't seem to shake these injuries. They just seem to have piled up, and they're hoping for a breakthrough this year.
And they're freak ones too, dislocated shoulders, jaw injuries, ankle injuries. So working his way back. Bontang with the tackle there, clipping it off of Fernandez. Now Mines on the ball. Closed down by two Rowdy defenders. Gets it in the box. Elney turns and his cross knocked off of Lasso and out for a corner kick.
Great play by Bontang there to break up that play from Fernandez. Played a good ball to Mines, and I think, as I said, like Egbo before, it's a good position for him to be in. You want your outside backs to be aggressive, and he did a great job there.
Lemma now to take. Knocked down on the top of the 6. Elney couldn't get a clean strike on that one. And Lasso right there to block it as well.
Great job there. Elney seems to be finding good spots in here. Looking like Omar Sow maybe checking into this game.
And for New York Red Bull fans, for maybe Red Bull fans globally, this is a name that they're going to get very familiar with. The coaching staff believes over the next few months. Omar Sow about to come in, as you said, an attacking option out of Harrison, New Jersey. Just 19 years old. 6 appearances last year, all off the bench, 2 goals. The guy knows how to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of excitement around New York about Omar Sow, the Harrison native. I think everyone's very excited to see what he can bring to this club, and a lot of excitement around him, and nice, good, exciting young product. So hopefully he can come in this game, be effective.
Played at Harrison High School, struggled a little, 80 goals, 50 assists in about 2 years.
Yeah, that's a tough record there.
Moved on to the Red Bull Academy, 5 goals in 5 starts for the U18s. Moved into USL action and played 152 minutes at 2 goals in USL play last year. And John Wolyniec said scored in every preseason game he played in coming into this season. Struggling with a little injury, so didn't push for that starting spot today. As the Rowdies play this corner kick in, knocked down. Tejada's shot is blocked, but this is a perfect opportunity for So to come in.
Yeah, I think this is a game that he can really thrive in. I think they need some creativity in there. They need a goal-scoring threat, and that's exactly what he's going to bring to this game.
Rowdies still dangerous in the attack here as they look to protect this 1-goal lead. New York will have to stay aware as they give away another corner kick here.
Great job by Tejada there to draw that corner. Obviously, he's a hard worker. He doesn't shy away from the work, and he's rewarded there by drawing a corner.
Called up for the Panamanian U23 team last year for the Pan Am Games. You got to think he's going to be in the conversation for the Panamanian full national team over the next few years if he continues to perform this way. Tampa looking for a good, solid, full season out of him. His first professional soccer year last year fell off a little halfway through the season. But of course, 10 goals showing his quality. Big switch. Back to Hilton. And now New York back on the ball, and a long pass there from Lemma. And it will be a substitution. So it'll be Omar Sow coming on as we expected, and it'll be Omir Fernandez going off.
Your attention, please. Red Bulls 2.
I think Omir will probably be a little bit disappointed after this one not to take advantage of a couple of those first half chances. Didn't necessarily have too many chances in the second half for himself, but I think it's something he can build on. Don't get too discouraged about this one. Red Bull fans are very excited about him this year. They're going to be looking to him to play a major role in MLS, and he's an exciting young prospect.
Yeah, he is. The first time you watch him play, it's something different, I think, from what we've come to know from a lot of young American players. He wants to be on the ball. He takes risks, good with his feet. Just wasn't able to find the back of the goal here today.
Scored a lot of big goals last year, and I think he's got nothing but a lot of exciting things to look forward to in the future.
2 Americans who know something about scoring goals, Eric Winalda and Landon Donovan. That'll be the USL Game of the Week tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN News. San Diego Loyal making their debut. A sold-out home crowd. They've got 3 home games to start the year as Hilton curls this shot just over the crossbar.
Good look there from Hilton. Drove well. Again, no one stepped out to pressure him, so he decided to take it on himself to get a look on goal, and unlucky to curl it over the top.
Final 10 minutes here. The Rowdies would love to start the season with 3 points on the road. Stick themselves up at the top of the Eastern Conference standings where they expect to be all year. And New York, they're never one you'd expect to be shut out in games. A team that led the league last year in passes completed and crosses attempted. They're a team that likes to push the attack.
Yeah, it's something you don't see very often, a shutout, especially at home for New York. And so you're never surprised when there's multiple goals in this game. Good play by Stroud to be aggressive. The coaches are always looking to these wingers to be aggressive, but I'm sure there's some more goals in this game. I think New York is going to be pushing more and more here.
So Lemma and Stroud over this one. The two players who graduated from the USL to MLS setup from last year to this year. Lemma with the armband on, curls it in. Knocked away at the near post. It'll be a corner kick coming for New York. Omar Sow bringing a little more size again on the field for New York. As we enter the final 10 minutes here, opening game of the 2020 season in USL Championship play. Lasso heads it away on the top of the 6. Untang goes wide. I'm off the line for Stroud. Stroud finding some success 1v1. That early ball, no one there to beat it for New York.
This is the time in the game, like you mentioned before, not to panic. You know there's going to be chances. You just have to calm down and try to develop one. But if you start rushing, just throwing things forward and really going away from the game plan, it's going to be tough for them to find an opportunity here. So they just have to stick to the game plan, make sure they're being aggressive, and try to find a goal to tie it up here.
And whatever happens over these last 10 minutes, I think we've seen from Neil Collins' group what he wants to for 2020, which is tough to break down, a good shield in front of Evan Loro.
Right, they've done a great job here limiting New York's chances, especially here in the second half. They've definitely been that shield, and I think it's something to build on for them and something to excite these Tampa Bay Rowdy fans.
It's going to be fun next week against Miami. See those two teams face off for the first time in a number of years after the NASL days. Mines picks that one up. Good tackle put in by Aaron Guillen, one of the newcomers on this team. Zayat's big switch for Kilwine. Steinberger pushing up to close him down. Lem under pressure, back to Fala. Joe Fala, the rookie out of Ramapo College. Center forward in college, converting to center back. And hold the line here today at MSU Soccer Park.
They're going to want Fala to be aggressive here, keep driving if they're going to give you the space and really put it on them to step out.
Elney trying to take that one. First time off the layoff from So, but the first time, Connor, we've seen really any combination play here over these last 10, 15 minutes.
Right, that's a great job by Fala to really push there, and good combination to lead to that Elney chance. I think he, like I said, 100 to 70, slow down a little bit. Don't rush these shots. Really, you know, there's chances out there for them. They just got to take advantage of them with a little bit more calm.
You mentioned Fala stepping forward. It's something Red Bulls have given license to their center backs to do, as long as you get space to keep pushing forward.
Or it's a big emphasis for center backs here to be comfortable on the ball and really let plays develop. And
so getting on the ball here. Back to Muil. Muil with the long strike and rising just over the crossbar.
Good effort there from Alex. Unlucky not to get that one on frame, but like I said, center backs, they like you said, they have full range to really push the ball upfield.
Of course, former USL Defender of the Year Aaron Long showed his quality with New York Red Bulls too. Seen the freedom those players are given. Fernandez, the goal scorer here, returning to his native New York metro area. Right now sitting on the winner.
Let's see if it will hold up. Fernandez has had a very professional open to the season here today. He's a huge part of this team, and I think it's a testament to him and the coaching staff in putting him in position to be successful.
Guillen called for the foul there. Elney trying to restart play quickly. Guillen doing everything he can to slow that. Aaron Guillen, a few good years in North Carolina. 32 starts last year. 56 starts total in 2018 and 19 for North Carolina FC. They're coming over permanently from FC Dallas. Tejada trying to get on the end of this one in a foot race with Fala. Fala uses his body well and able to lay it back to Lapsley.
It's going to be a tough body to get around there. I think it was, he's using his body well. He's got good recovery speed, and he showed pretty well today.
Kilwine with the turnover. Tejada pressing. Lapsley safely lasts it long. Wheel in a good physical battle there with Dembuya.
Just go down there, just all be ready.
Showing out one of his best attributes is being physical. Does a great job to hold up there, initiate the contact first, and hold out that ball and draw a foul.
So a yellow card shown to Dembuya there. Only one sub use so far for Neil Collins. It was in the first half. Kyle Murphy coming off for Tejada. On the flip side, New York has used all 3 of their subs already.
It's looking like that's about to change for Tampa. Looks like someone's getting ready to come on.
Could be Jordan Doherty, Sheffield United player who was on loan last year and signed permanently out of the Premier League for the Rowdies. To the feet of Kilwine. The Rowdies pushing their pressure a little bit higher here. Now flying forward. Duro laying that one off for Tejada. Tejada able to come away with it. Early cross for Guenzati and into the safe hands of Lapsley.
Let's see if Red Bull can break here. Try to catch Tampa in transition. Try to push this game.
Tejada getting back to recover, allowing the neon yellow jerseys to get behind the ball. 88th minute of play here on ESPN Plus. David Goss and Connor Lade with you for the opening of the 2020 USL Championship season. We'll be here with you on ESPN Plus for every game. And of course, if you're in the area, come on out to MSU Soccer Park to come watch this team play as Jordan Scarlett, the former New York Red Bull 2 center back, flying forward. Gets it into the path of the other center back, Guillen. Aaron Guillen looking to close this game, and it's saved by Lapsley.
Great save there by Lapsley. Strong run by Scarlett up there to really push the game. Thought he could have gone coast to coast, but he chose to give it up to Guillen, and great save by Lapsley. Maybe a little bit too big of a touch there and just try to chip him, but it was a big save to keep them in this game.
New York Red Bulls, too, trailing here for the last 30 minutes. Struggling to create an opening. They forced Evan Loro into one big save as Steinberger turns out of pressure. Gets it into the feet of Tejada. And Tejada not able to find a teammate up the line as we approach the final minute of regular time here at MSU Soccer Park. New York Red Bulls, too, on the verge of falling here at home to open the season. So, wide for Stroud. Stroud early ball in, and no teammate there.
Great play by Omar Sow to find Jared Stroud. Looks like he tried to repay the favor and find him at the penalty spot, just a little bit behind and unlucky there. But Omar showing his quality, bringing people in the game, and just unlucky to not finish with a chance there.
57th minute strike from Leo Fernandez, the opening goal of the season. And right now, looking like it might stand up as the winner on the road for the Rowdies. Great start to the season it would be. Stroud lays this off from Wheel. Wheel, ball in, Lasso heads it away. And Dembuya then the second one to it.
Great spot by Lasso there to be in the right spot on a good ball by Alex Muriel.
And now the Rowdies will make the substitution, and it will be Jordan Doherty coming on. He will come on in place of Zach Steinberger, who's really had a strong second half here.
Yeah, Steinberger's looks like he's been the commanding leader in this team. You can hear him out there yelling guys into position, make sure everyone's staying compact, and really making sure they're staying disciplined today.
Doherty, 19 appearances on loan from Sheffield United last year, an Irish youth international. Sheffield United, of course, playing strong in the Premier League this year. And Doherty, a chance to come back and continue to grow his young professional career under Neil Collins.
The fourth official on the sideline has indicated there will be 3 minutes.
So we get the report. It'll be a minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time here at MSU Soccer Park. Can the Rowdies hang on? New York made all 3 of their substitutions. Is there an attacking hero in the midst to get them over the line here, or will they have to wait another week for their opening goal of the 2020 season?
It's looking like Joe Fowler's heading up there to use his 6'7" frame to be another option in the attack.
49 goals in college for Fala, 2-time All-American in Division III at Ramapo College. So another option high up the field for New York. Dontong's clearance is blocked. Tejada gets on the ball, surrounded by black jerseys. Guenzati lays it off for Hilton. Zayat's able to win it back for New York. Hilton has been everywhere in this game for the Rowdies. Another substitution here. It's going to be Lucky Mkosana to come on the field for the Rowdies. Looks like he'll actually come on in place of Tejada, who was a sub himself in this one.
Very good debut for the 2020 season for Tejada. He's an integral part of that attack and really gave New York a lot of problems today. He held up the ball well, and very professional performance from him.
Kyle Murphy and Roy Boateng both forced off early in this game with injuries. The substitution of Tejada changed this game, and he may have earned that second starting spot alongside Guenzati in this one. So turning here, worked off the ball by Guenzati. And now Mkosana trying to get on the end of the clearance. We are approaching that 3-minute mark here in stoppage time. What a performance for the Rowdies here to start the season.
Yeah, the one word that sticks out to me is discipline. I think they had a very, very professional performance today. They stuck together, were hard to break down. Even in the face of some chances that New York had, they stuck together and came out the second half and has really been dominant.
Mkosana flicks that one on. New York just trying to get it up the field quickly. A minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time have already been played. Looks like the Rowdies have done enough here to hang on for a big road victory. New York trying to get one last gasp at it. So can't find Stroud. Guillen hits that one long. Kevin Broadley looks at his watch. The whistle, though, not coming to his lips yet. Is there one more moment in this one for the home side? They blast it long. Lasso trying to throw his body at it. Wheel with yellow shirts around him. It goes wide for Lemma. New York's going to have to get a chance quickly here, and that'll be it. Leo Fernandez, a 57th minute goal, and Connor, they hang on to that 1-0 lead to get the win here on the road to open the season.
Yeah, like I said, great performance by Tampa. New York unlucky not to take advantage on some of those first half chances and a few in the second, but professional performance from Tampa and a dream start for them to start this 2020 season going on the road in a place where it's a tough place to play against a good New York team, and they were able to come away with the win.
They have never won in New York in their franchise's history, and they're able to get their first victory to open the 2020 season. We'll be back in just a moment with your post-game coverage here on ESPN+.
Take a tour and get 10% off your full tab.
Red isn't just our color. It's a passion that beats in the hearts of everyone who stands with us. All 11 on the field, the thousands in the stands, across our 2 states, all driving us forward as one. Red never sleeps. Red never quits. Because here, the difference between winning and losing doesn't just happen on the field. It runs much deeper than that.
It's been a long, cold winter without soccer, and USL Championship action is finally back here at MSU Soccer Park. David Goss and Connor Lade with you for the opener, and what a win it was for the Tampa Bay Rowdies to go on the road and pick up 3 points where they've never done it before and move to the top of the USL Eastern Conference. Connor, before we get out of here, final thoughts from you?
Yeah, Leo Fernandez, great goal today, great performance. He was a difference maker and was able to capitalize on the chance that he got, and New York wasn't able to do so, but they'll hopefully regroup next game.
11 shots, 63% possession for New York, but only 2 shots on goal. And Fernandez, as you said, that 57th minute winner, the lone goal of this one, as the Rowdies now head onto the road to face off against Miami FC. And next week, the New York Red Bulls, too, will host Hartford Athletic here at MSU Soccer Park at 7 p.m. on Friday night. So make sure if you're in the area to come on out for this one. It's going to be a fun one. The 2020 season off and running. So much more soccer left to watch for these 2 teams and across the league. For myself, David Goss, and my partner, Connor Lade, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy the fact that USL Championship Soccer is back here on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.